Welcome back, everyone, to another Market Open live stream. Today, we have a little bit of softness in the crypto market as the stock market actually had its futures go from what looked like they were going to be pretty nasty red yesterday, down about a third to a half, to essentially flat right now. Let's take a peek at what's going on here and then try to make sense of it. Today is the eve of CPI data coming out tomorrow. So take a look at this. We've got the Dow futures here up 0.05%, S&P futures up 0.09, NASDAQ up almost a quarter at 0.24. Bonds sitting unchanged at 1.6, and oil sitting at essentially unchanged at about 83.40 for Brent. So at the same time, oh, look at that breaking. IMF cuts global growth forecast, citing supply disruptions. Looks like this just popped in here. Yeah, this just popped in about 60 seconds ago here. This modest headline revision masks large downsides or downgrades for some countries. The International Monetary Fund, the lender of last resort for countries. Anyway, so we have seen a little bit of this drawdown in Ethereum and Cardano, while at the same time, we've actually seen an increase in Bitcoin, which is somewhat odd. I have to say, usually you would expect them to move a little bit more in tandem, but it's not been what we've seen. In fact, if we just zoom out here on the day chart, we probably see it a little bit better. Day chart gives us a little bit more of a softening of this. And so we see as of sort of the 7th and 8th, we get a little bit of this curvature here to the downside for Ethereum, and for Cardano. Really, Cardano's had a little bit of a rougher ride here in the sense of this moment here because of the Alonzo hard fork. A lot of enthusiasm got packed in over here, so we're really going from these bottom levels to where we are now. But BTC here, Bitcoin, it really has taken off here in the last about 12 days here, from about 42,000 to almost 58,000, 57,000, just over 57,000 now. And Ethereum has not shared in that same sort of run. So it's almost like we're disconnecting slightly from how they run and how they align from each other. But anyway, yeah, you're seeing a clear kind of rotation of the downside here. Ethereum, Cardano, Ethereum sitting at 34.32, Cardano 210, while Ethereum sort of rotating to the upside, potentially because of CPI data and the manipulations that seem to come to the market with CPI data releases. Tomorrow we get a CPI data release. It's going to be big. It is going to be the September data release that we've been waiting for. It's worth noting that previous CPI days, we've seen Bitcoin hit some highs and inflect down from there. So let's take a look at the calendar just to see it. CPI calendar. Let's jump in here. All right, here you go. Take a look at this. So let's look at April 13th, May 12th, June 10 for giggles. So 13, 12, April 13, you'd literally time the peak of Bitcoin on April 13th. May 12th, you'd be at an approximate second peak. And June 10th and July 13th. Okay, June 10, nothing particular here. July, what do we have here? July 13th and August 11th. July 13th. I can't really say anything particular here. August, going into August 10th. Yeah, it's weird. It was really only that April-May reading where you actually saw a more consistent sort of catalyst on what happened. August 11th, I don't know if this was an inflection to the upside. August 11th, not really. Yeah, it was really only those two readings, which is very interesting. Really only April 13th and May 12th for CPI data releases that actually timed with a solid Bitcoin peak, were these two dates here. As inflection, we really had heights in inflation. And yeah, we'll see what happens now. We'll see if tomorrow we end up getting a crypto high, and could that potentially then end up being a formal high, or would it just potentially be the beginning? All right. So, all right, what else do we have? So that gives us a little bit of a preview on crypto. I am curious why we're seeing the potential spread there between Ethereum and Bitcoin, but we'll pay attention to it. On the stock front here, Camber Energy down about 8.59%. And that's really the loser today. It's just Camber Energy. Otherwise, here we barely have losers. I mean, Facebook down 0.95%, Hut 8 Mining 0.93, American Express 0.78. But these are nominal losers here. I mean, SoFi 0.25%. Who cares? Robinhood 0.1%. Who cares? Big deal. Big deal. All right, and let's see here. Let's flip over to the green side. Ocugen up 9.23% today. Let's take a quick look and see what Bloomberg's indicating on Ocugen, because that's a nice move on Ocugen there. Okay. Ocugen. So individual company news for Ocugen to see why this one's moving here. We have Ocugen. Let's see here. Ocugen surges as Covaxin recommended for children 2 to 18. Emergency use authorization in India. Ocugen rises as much as 23% in pre-market trading after an expert panel in India recommended giving emergency use authorization for the COVID-19 vaccine Covaxin for children between 2 and 18. The drug would continue to need further regulatory approval. Commercial supply agreement has been entered into for Covaxin. All right. That helps us get a little bit of insight into the wild ride of Ocugen. Look at this, Redfin popping up 4.93% today. I don't think on any particular news other than potentially being somewhat oversold compared to what we've had in the past. We've been in sort of this downward trending dither for Redfin since let's take a look here. Since February, I believe. Yep. Look at that. Since February, we've really been collapsing down here. It's worth noting that it really seems to hold this 47.55 line pretty well. We've fallen beneath that in August here briefly, but it really seems to hold this line well. No guarantees, obviously, that it will in the future, but we tested that in May and a few times here recently, 3 times within the last few months, and holding there seems to be pretty solid, whereas bouncing off of the 56 line also seems to be something that it's recently accomplished. So a little range bound here. Matterport up 3%, just over $20. Enphase up again here, 2.32% to 165. Square back up 1.9. Where'd it go? There we go. 1.7%, 236. Beachbody's actually up today. Not a lot of movers today here. Hippo up 1.38, Lucid 144, Tesla over 800, folks. Is it actually going to be able to hold over 800 today? It's going to be very, very interesting. What's my percentage of BTC, ETH, and ADA? It's about 20, 40, 40. Lemonade, 1.03%. Yeah, relatively benign market today in terms of stocks. Let's see if we can understand a little bit of the crypto news that's going on. Why potentially are we seeing this spread in Bitcoin and Ethereum? I personally find it to be somewhat curious. So let's take a look here. The JP Morgan take was kind of lame. It's not worth talking about. And we'll do a little bit of searching here. Bitcoin. I mean, let's see what their crypto news suggests. Let's see. I mean, okay, Bitcoin failed to pass 58K and started a downside correction. I mean, I wouldn't really call sitting at 57,000 a downside correction. At this, okay, whatever. After a minor decline, there we go. Remain supported above 56K. Good. Can we any rationale here or just straight TA? That's all they're giving us is a TA. That's it. Well, that's boring. It's quite boring. Yeah. Well, we'll keep exploring. End phase is ripping. I hope so. I love end phase. Yeah, let's see here. No, other than crazy predictions by random folks. Bitcoin expected to tumble. Oh, it's nonsense. All right, here we go. 2-month low against Bitcoin. Let's see what Cointelegraph thinks. They always have pretty cool graphics. Not that that's necessarily a. I bet you they're going to try to NFT all their graphics in the future if they don't already. Ethereum's native token rallied by more than 15% in the first 12 days of October, but compared to Bitcoin's 30% gains in the same period, the second largest crypto is currently in a downtrend when priced in BTC. So far in October, the exchange rate has plunged by 12%. Bitcoin dominance rises on ETF hopes. More evidence for the ETH BTC weakness came from rising Bitcoin dominance in the crypto market. You know, I find that surprising. In detail, the Bitcoin Dominance Index, which measures the flagship cryptocurrency capitalization against the rest of the market, surged. Well, sure, as price goes up, that makes sense. Expectations for an ETF. But look, if we had an ETF, don't we think that a crypto ETF would have Bitcoin and Ethereum in it? This doesn't make sense to me. I just feel like you would see both doing well in the event of an ETF, and probably also some of the other altcoins, some of the larger ones. But that'd be some kind of crypto ETF rather than just Bitcoin ETF. I mean, unless somebody just wanted, unless the ETF literally just comprised of Bitcoin, but in that case, you may as well just own Bitcoin. Oh, it doesn't make sense to me. All right, let's see here. Very bullish for Bitcoin, whatever. Let's see, ETF, blah 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 blah. Subscribe. All right. I don't know. I'm skeptical that this is solely a spread off ETF news, but okay, maybe it is. Who knows? Who knows? Airbnb up 2.9. Nice. 2.4 here on Hippo. All right. Well, we'll see how the day goes. I do have this feeling that 2021 is potential. We're going to look back at 2021 potentially, and think that 2021 was one of the best years to just keep buying and buying and buying, because in many cases it's been this relatively flat market. Just look here, for example. Watch Tesla, okay, just as an example. 2021 has not exactly been exceptional. 2021 started at, what is this, 769? Okay, then again, it's at 790 now. You know, that's a little more than 10%. It's not bad. It's just felt very volatile and flattish, right? Let's do another one. Let's do end phase. So go to the beginning of the year. You're at a close of 177. The market's end phase has been literally flat the entire year. It's just almost kind of like a load the boat year. You know, things like ChargePoint and the chargers have been substantially down, heavily consolidated this year. Some of the crazier EV SPACs, bad 21. Look at the therapeutic companies. CRISPR, I mean, the darn thing's at $100 compared to where it started the year at. Where did we start the year? Somewhere around 162. It's nuts. Palantir, where did we start the year? Palantir started the year at 2411. It's down. Well, 2021 has been a somewhat painful year for many stocks for buy and hodl. But it could also potentially be that in hindsight could have been that opportunity, and potentially still is that opportunity to actually really build out positions. Take your 2021 earnings, just keep plowing. If you're optimistic, of course, about the market. Maybe you're not, though. Maybe you think stagflation is going to take over and 2022 is just going to be horrible. I'm not so terribly worried. So not about that. Let's look at some of the yields. 10-year treasuries, 10-year. All right, let's see what we got here. So 10-year at 1.6. No particular strong movement here to the upper downside from yesterday. We have, so the 10-year break even is probably stable, but let's look. 10-year break even. Okay. 10-year break even still rotating to the upside as of Friday, but we haven't got new data on this one. I'd like to see a little bit more data here on, but then again, I can look at tips. This is the spread between the two. 10-year. I don't know much about let's see here. Negative 0.915. 1.6 minus, well, I guess that'd actually be plus 0.195. Yeah, there's your spread. And as this goes down, the spread goes up, and this has been actually somewhat falling. Well, this is within a day chart. Hold on. Go to the month here. Yeah, it actually did come down a little bit from the end of September. Interesting. So these are Treasury, these are inflation-protected securities. Treasury inflation-protected securities. The yield's gone more negative on this. Widening the spread. If you widen the spread, you're actually increasing inflation expectations. But that could also be as, well, yeah, because tips can go negative more, and the 10-year can go positive more. That widens the spread. Yeah, it's not enough of a movement on either of them, I think, to really indicate anything. It's pretty nominal. Okay, fine then. Nominal moves everywhere. Fine. So, let's do a little look here. And just see what looks cheap, right? What's left. Now, I like to do this once every so often, and I think it's worth doing because it's easy to forget prices and just get sort of your head stuck in percentage up, percentage down. So let's do a quick little explore. All right. We'll grab the pre-market over here. We'll throw it over here. So we've got Airbnb, 171. It's over our IPO, but it's out of this beautiful channel that we've had here. And this is, I like to consider it the channel of pain for Airbnb. And that channel of pain really starts at about 139 and goes to about 129. We visited that twice. So we're nowhere near there now. Let's look at Adobe. Let's do an explore here. So Adobe has, started the year out around $500, let's say. And right now we're sitting at 575. So you're still up about 15%. Nowhere near the highs that you were of that 673, but still nicely up for the year. You've got Google. Google had a little bit of a little pause. That's climbing back up. No, not a particularly screaming deal, I don't think. Apple here started the year at somewhere around, what are we at, 130. It's at 142. Okay. It's about 10%-ish. Alibaba. Now, here's an interesting one. Alibaba straight down, essentially, for the entire year. In fact, with Alibaba, we are now trading at 163. Alibaba is trading. Look at that. It went to 163 during the recession. How crazy is that? In March of 2020. That's wild. And before that, it hit a low of 121 or 129. Wow. It has not been at this level. I mean, I should say it's been at this level since 2017. I mean, here's one. If you're nervous about China, you've got to stay away. If you're not as nervous about China, this is a place to be. Now, this has had incredible growth, this company. 58% in 2018, 50% 2019. 40% 2021, 27% expected for 22, 20%, 18%, and potentially negative 6% going forward in 2025. So a little bit of a potential bumpy ride there in terms of growth for Baba. But valuation wise, boy, oh boy, the thing is, it's just in the toilet. So Baba is definitely one that if you were looking for a value play and you were not afraid of China, big key. That's the big key. If you're not afraid of China, valuation-wise, boy, Alibaba's that's a cheapie. All right, let's see what else we got. AMC 37, AMD 105. Still in a pretty incredibly elevated level. I mean, this traded at $80 sideways for most of the year and broke out here recently. All right. Affirm is obviously no particular deal right now. Then you've got the airlines, $20 for American. I mean, the airlines and recoveries. I mean, I think there's definitely upside once we get to the spring of next year, but I'm not sure exactly how excited I personally am about recoveries right now, with the exception of maybe Disney. Beyond Meat's an interesting one. Personally, I think the pandemic was a little bit too good to Beyond Meat and people stocked up like crazy. And that's really why this stock has, look at this. It has been channel bound and it is broken below this channel since May of 2020. If you've been sitting Beyond Meat since May of 2020, like nothing has happened. That's crazy. If anything, it's been down. So let's see. Bed Bath, Beyond Meat, Bumble, Camber, Canadian Solar. Canadian Solar is interesting. Another one that's very channel bound. We are below October of 2020 ranges for Canadian Solar. You've got, so I'm writing that one down. So far I wrote down Baba and Canadian Solar. Yeah, let's go a little faster so we can get this done by the bell here. Cheesecake, ChargePoint. ChargePoint's another interesting one. A very big focus though on commercial chargers, which is almost a style of investing in recovery. I'm going to write that down. ChargePoint as almost a style of recovery, like a back to the office, right? Chipotle has been an amazing crusher of a stock. I personally wouldn't open up a large position at this point in it. C3AI has just been devastated, although they are a very complicated business to understand. I keep trying. Dutch Bros, recent IPO here. Dix, DD, Dave & Buster's. Let's go a little faster here. DocuSign's interesting because we're finally rotating back down a little bit to kind of where we were at the end of last year. See, look at this. We sat at 245 towards the end of last year, sitting at about 261 now. So kind of also a nice bumpy 2021 here. Docu, as a, if you wanted another money losing company, it's an interesting one. That and Lemonade for money losing companies. And I always think you want to balance the amount of money losing companies you have with like profitable companies. You gotta make some money, you know. Etsy, EXPI, Enphase. Obviously, you know I've been very excited about Enphase. Certainly, that one's worth writing down. What else do we have here? Fisker, Gevo, GameStop. Gevo was a little too momentum based. Hippo's obviously inexpensive. I'm looking for some that we haven't been paying attention to much lately. JP Morgan, I do wonder how they've been trading. Pretty well actually. Financials at JP. It's not something I would buy, but in terms of something to diversify with, it's not horrible. JPM's an excellent company. Matterport's just something you've got to own and hold. Did go down to about 1780. I was hoping it would go down to 1516. I didn't get it down as much as that. When it ran up to 24, I was saying this is going to go back down. Just didn't go as far down as I thought it would, but it did go back down. Macy's for recovery. That has been the biggest player this year. Not sure that I would open a position now in Macy's. Moderna is fascinating, but also has just been on this insane run this year on booster talk, and I think that's getting taken away here with some of the Merck discussions. Nvidia, another one with a split this year. Some of these top performers, honestly, are companies that I don't think are going to be top performers next year. And so they're not, excuse me, they're not things I'm heavily interested in. I like that finally Netflix is breaking out a little bit, and most people think it's because of Squid Games. And honestly, I watched Squid Games for the first time yesterday and watched like 3 episodes, like 3, 4, and 5, I think. It's good. It's very weird, but it's very good. Neo, again, another one. You just if you're okay with the China risk. Obviously outlets in the toilet. Poshmark, I don't understand. I think the problem is with Posh, you've really got a social trend that started evaporating here, which is unfortunate. Palantir is great in my opinion. Peloton will be interesting to see if we get a run up in Jan for the New Year's res. Qualcomm, after they lost, literally just down after they lost the Apple phone contract. But there could be some value in QCOM. I'm going to write down QCOM. It's a huge company. Massive, massive company. Okay, we got a minute left. Roblox is almost heading back to IPO. I'm going to just write that one down as one to watch. Roblox. And then we have Shift Technology, obviously another cheapie here. Starbucks has recovered very, very nicely. 30 seconds to the bell here. Salesforce has finally started moving in this year. Traded sideways at 220 forever. CA, Toast, Tesla, Twilio. We'll take a peek at Twilio and Target here in just a sec. Maybe now. Yeah, look at that. Twilio, mostly sideways this year. No real breakout here at Twilio. Let's go ahead and get the bell.
3,000. I mean, it ain't worthless. It's got a price. And I'm not Mike Nova guy. I have the luck. But I mean, give me a break. I'm a customer. Give me what I want. I'm not alone.
Well, essentially, he's saying the customer has the right to be foolish, right? That's the point.
All right, looks pretty green today. Look at that. That's, I'd say, about an 75% green. We'll go about 75% green. We'll take a look at how some of these stocks are opening up, and then maybe we'll come back to the T's here and do a little bit of exploration. Yeah, I haven't looked into MQ, although I'm not super excited about looking at things that are sort of a derivative of another. I'd rather have a firm than something that may be in a background to a firm. Personally, that doesn't mean it's a bad company. It might just be a personality thing. So let's see how some things are opening up here. And then we'll go back to T and explore to see just sort of some relative valuations here. A little bit of a red candlestick here on AMC as we open. Tesla's looking like a big fat green here. We've got Etsy going green. Lemonade kind of going slightly red here. Trade Desk. This is an interesting one. Very volatile this year. Look at my 2 channels that I've drawn. We're kind of heading towards a potential upside breakout. Maybe. We'll see. We're just breaking above the 20-day EMA, just now breaking above it. And we are trending to potentially break out over this trend line that we've drawn here. Let's see. What else is moving here in the morning? Oh, let's go to the minute. Apple rotating to the downside. I wonder if that's an omen for the SPY. S&P, yeah, a little red there on the downside on the open. Airbnb, a little red as well. Square, not sure what it's doing. Matterport's red. Affirm's going green again. Gosh, Affirm is just one you just cannot stop. It's unstoppable stock. Facebook, Facebook was the one leading red as well. Autodesk. This is one that, in my opinion, I've been extremely interested in. And I have not gotten to pull the trigger on it yet, but it's one that I'm heavily watching. So I'm going to write this one down on this little side list that I've made. I'm actually going to put an asterisk by Autodesk as one I've really haven't built out. And I want to compare Autodesk to QCOM. Yeah, that's probably what I would do. Not that they're at all similar, just in terms of like, if I may, like, for example, I might ask myself, like, which of these would I rather add to my portfolio? Remember, folks, and this is something that's very easy to forget. There are 3 ways to invest in companies. Fundamental analysis, which I also teach in the Stocks and Psychology of Money group, with new lectures on fundamental analysis, TA, and all the good stuff coming out in 12 days. Really cool. It's a free upgrade for everyone. Price goes up on the 29th. The coupon expires on the 29th. Price goes up then. TA, so you have fundamental analysis, technical analysis, charting, and social momentum. Some people call it social arbitrage. Some people just call it the meme stock movement. Whatever. Those are your 3 ways to invest. And you could use a combination of all 3 sometimes. I personally love to invest in things when all 3 of those align, where like you're bottomed out on the technicals, you're solid on the fundamentals, and the TA is potentially suggesting a breakout. And this show, I may have misaligned the way I said that, but you've also got a potential social catalyst. But anyway, let's see how some other things are opening this morning. Zoom. Yeah, Zoom's been on an interesting kind of downtrend, but not a surprise. People keep asking me about Zoom, like, is it time to buy the dip on Zoom? Personally, I think there's just a really good chance that you still have people sitting in Zoom that are doing the recovery play as a delta hedge, not like a, like delta like options hedge, but like a delta variant hedge. And I think that's going to evaporate Zoom stock, ticker ZM. Not to be confused with the other tickers, as people do eventually trade away from COVID-style plays. So let's see here. Zoom, XPeng. All right, yeah, okay. Wayfair 1.71 to the upside here. Really think Wayfair under this 138 line is pretty inexpensive right now, but we'll see. Look at that. Wynn Resorts finally made it back to $90. So good job for Wynn. A lot of that Chinese Macau fear got built into Wynn, bringing this down to 80. It's worth noting you're seeing something similar happening with, potentially Neo, but certainly with Alibaba. That sort of rotation. In my opinion, it potentially is also worth looking at some of these mortgage plays. I mean, look at a company like United Wholesale Mortgage Company or Rocket. These companies have been absolutely devastated in their stock. I mean, you are just at lows of lows. This, of course, was a SPAC. RKT or Rocket went public, but both of them on the same sort of bleed out trajectory. And it almost makes you wonder if there's just like leftover value in some of these. Would really take an analysis on the potential impact for rate increases on these particular companies. Corsair, some argue, is another one of those just potential val plays. So if we write down value, I'm going to put a little V next to the ones that look like value. I would say United Wholesale, Rocket, potentially Alibaba. These are just heavily reduced prices here. Potentially Corsair, and we'll sort of keep an eye on some of these maybe potential value plays. So shout out if you have some other ones. You have supply shortage stocks, certainly like Mattel, Hasbro, but these are not necessarily value plays. I wouldn't necessarily call Enphase value play. Enphase is certainly a high growth play. Whirlpool's been fascinating at how it's really started rotating down as really people potentially got their new appliances. 2021 has just been essentially now a net negative year for them. MU. I don't know what MU is. Micron. Yeah, I just don't know anything about Micron. I probably should though. I don't know. Let's do a quick little look what it is. Okay, Micron. Micron. Is this a Canadian company? No, because it's MU. There we go. So let's look at Micron. Keep in mind, if you did not have your opportunity to do so yet, this is your reminder to get one free stock with Public. Go to metkevin.com/public. You get a free stock valued all the way up to $70. They don't use payment for order flow, and they won't sell your data. Go to metkevin.com/public to get a free stock worth up to $70. So Micron is, let's see here, security description. What the heck is this thing? Is through its subsidiary manufactures market dynamic random access memory chips. The chip play. Memory modules, flash memory, semiconductor components. CNBU is the largest segment, accounting for 45% of its sales. Compute and networking business. Okay. I don't know what that is. Nearly 70% of its revenue comes from DRAM and NAND flash products. Idaho-based. 55% of its revenue from the US, the rest from Taiwan, Japan. Oh, so you've definitely got a supply constraint issue here if 45% is coming from overseas. And who knows, that could also be a portion of what goes into the 55% they manufacture in Idaho. Wow. You're selling for barely 14 times earnings here. You've got you had negative growth in 19 and 20. I'd want to find out why they had negative growth, but 29% for 2021, 18, 13, 2% going forward. So slowing growth, certainly slowing growth, but yeah, as a potential value bucket, that's not an offensive one. That is not an offensive one at all. That's very interesting to me. Good one. Okay. And any others? I like that one, actually. I would do more research on it, but not bad. Yeah, Micron's had a little bit of pain. What's going on with the Western Digital and Seagate? I feel like they pumped because of there's a certain crypto coin that was all about using hard drives to sort of like crowd store stuff. I don't know what the other thing was called. I don't know that we could call CRISPR a value play, but Western Digital, $2 EPS, the thing's still selling for 26, 27 times. Current, though, EPS next year could be as much as $10. Holy moly, how? How do they expect to grow 20% and then 7%? Wait a sec. Interesting. Very interesting. I mean, I'm going to write it down because in terms of potential value play, Western Digital is another one that's quite interesting. Value, of course, just looking for potential low multiple stocks. Seagate Technology. It's interesting. Another one selling for 10 times 2022. 14, 15 times 2021. I'll write it down. Seagate. STX is the ticker for Seagate. AT&T, Riot, Toast. All right, let's see how some other things are moving here. Let's take a look at, now there should be enough time for the day to have really started solidifying here. DQ. Chinese solar play, again, moving to the upside here. Very nice. 6.875%. Enphase, wow, Enphase again, 4.58%. Almost at 170 again. Let's go. Wow. Enphase has been crushing it. Crushing. Oh, look at Airbnb moving nicely too. Impressive. SunPower, the energy plays coming back. I'm very happy to see that. Built out some pretty large portfolios in energy. A lot of Enphase. So good to see that. Lemonade, 2.59%. Good to see Lemonade rotate back a little bit. Matterport, again, that 3.5%. Good job. ChargePoint coming back up, almost back up to $20. Very good. Yeah, and let's take a look here. Trade Desk, 2.3 Square. Tesla's at 808. Wow. Wow. You can really dance. Affirm, 1.71 again. Recovering from yesterday's madness. Towards the downside. Sheeb sitting at 2,900. SoFi's down 1%, but it had a massive gain yesterday. Outlet is now under $4. Outlet. Let's see if there's any news on it. I doubt there is. Let's see here. No. Nope, no particular news since the FDA nonsense. Okay. SoFi, DocuSign, 258. But otherwise, not many losers here. Let's go ahead and take a look at crypto. Been head stuck in stocks here for a little bit. Let's go take an exploratory peek here. So looks to me like Cardano recovered a little bit, and so did Ethereum. Yeah, both of these recovered a little bit. Bitcoin had a nice little pump of about $300 here just in about the last 20 minutes. And Cardano, 2.14. Very nice. Okay, let me do this. I want to take a peek over here at, let's see. I want to see how the pricing looks for some puts on these guys, sold puts. So if I go out 38, 66, 5, let's see here. There's no way the pricing is going to be any good on this. Yeah, no, you're not going to be able to sell a put for 250. You'd have to go to 5. You don't have a lot of options choice here, unfortunately. Looks like you get some, no. Yeah, you barely get choice because it's $4. So at $5, you're basically going to get executed on a sold put. So what if you went out a little bit? You went to 5, 85 cents. It's not even that good. Oh wait, hold on. Sell put. There we go. $1.80. $1.80 to get you out to March divided by 5. That gets you about 80 cents under where you are now. You can't really go with 36% though because you're already upside down by $1. So you're really only 0.8. Yeah, 16%. I don't know. That's actually not that great a pricing on puts. Selling puts just not that juicy right now. That's interesting. Yeah, you'd be almost better off buying like $2.50 calls. How much are these going to cost you? That brings you to about $5. What's the $5? Brings you about $5.90. $1.80. Yeah. Can't really go long on these guys. Look at this though. Buying a call from March that would put you about $4.55, about a 55-cent premium over where it sits right now. Yeah, or just hold the shares. Same thing with Hippo. Sort of on a similar trajectory here. Okay, so let's go ahead and explore a little bit of news. See what the mainstream is saying. All right, IMF trims testimonials. Yeah, absolutely. Go to metkevin.com/chat. You could join Discord, and there's a feedback and test section. Testimonials. Is the market falling a little? Let's look at SPY. Let's see how the SPY is doing. Oh, yeah. Look at that. What a weirdo drop. What happened? That's sudden. Is it because of the IMF? Let's see here. IMF, you messing up people's plays here. All right. The IMF expressed concern the global economic recovery has lost momentum and become increasingly divided, even as it's stuck by its perception for a robust rebound from the COVID-19 recession. The Washington-based lender now expects output to expand at 5.9% worldwide this year, down 0.1% from what it anticipated in July, and a bounce from the 3.1% contraction in 2020. The fund warned threats to growth had increased, pointing to the Delta variant, supply chains, and accelerating inflation and rising costs for food and fuel. Overall, risks to the economic prospects have increased, and policy trade-offs have become more complex. The dangerous divergence in economic prospects across countries remains a concern. But that could be a reference to slower growth in certain developing countries versus potentially strong growth in countries like, well, the United States or the United Kingdom, where you have potentially higher vaccine rates. This is not me trying to force a vaccine on anyone. It's just me saying higher vaccine rate countries seem to be developing a little faster right now, or growing faster. But anyway, let's see here. Forecasts for UK, Germany, Canada were all cut this year, but lifted for 2022. Low-income countries were tipped to advance just 3% this year, slicing 0.9% from July. China will grow at 8% this year, 5.6% next, both a slight decline. GDP, okay. These are just projections. Inflation forecasts. Headline inflation will likely return to pre-pandemic levels by mid-2022. 3.5% expected in the US, 2.6% in Canada, France 1.6%, Germany 1.5%, China 1.8%. That's not a lot of inflation for China. Look at where you're really seeing the inflation. Venezuela, Sudan, Ethiopia, Zambia, Turkey, and Iran. And then it doesn't look like we have data for Afghanistan. It's interesting how they kind of left them out. It's kind of like, well, we don't have a government here, so we're not going to project any inflation here. It's quite interesting. Iceland, 3.1%. Anyway, in financial markets, the IMF said that, quote, stretched asset valuations meant investor sentiment could rapidly shift by adverse news on the pandemic or policy. Well, that's a good point. There are going to be a whole lot of weenie baby paper handers. Yeah. My eye is itchy. As a meeting of international governments on fighting climate change nears at the end of the month, the fund said stronger concrete commitments are needed. Okay, well, this is about climate change. All right. All right. Very interesting. Stocks retreat as traders weigh inflation risks. This is like the story of 2021 that just literally makes you want to keep buying. See, and then of course that's what the market's doing. S&P falls a little, buy. It's just like over and over and over again, just buying the dip. Enphase 5% at 1.69 right now, or 169 rather. Very good. Rotating to the downside. Still the boring Hippo and Owlet, the ones that won't move, but it's okay. Dutch Bros down 2.27. Whoa, a firm inflected to the downside. A firm was positive 1.7. Now it's down 1.7. Robinhood down about 0.8. SoFi half. That's not a big deal. No massive opportunities. Let's go back really quick. We were doing our list of stock names. We ended at about T. It's just worth doing a little bit of an exploratory here again. Tesla now 109, by the way. Wow. Trade Desk. Definitely not a value play, but looking at it from the point of view of the year. Oh, yeah, we already looked at this with our channels. Just going to write it down. Kind of like an Autodesk, in my opinion. Not in like the service they provide, but the way I would look at them. Cloudflare. It's another one, but it's just ripped. It'd be hard for me to really start a position on some of these amazing winners of the year if I didn't already have one. But then again, if I already had a position, I probably wouldn't have. Ubiquity, kind of stuck here. Let's see here. We started the year at, never mind. Started the year somewhere around 272. That's up about 10%. Ubiquity, I think, has some potential. Upwork. Let's take a peek here at Upwork. Upwork, yeah, it's also up nicely for the year. We've had some lower opportunities on Upwork. Might have that again. PayPal feels like it's been relatively sideways. Lululemon done pretty dang well here. Honest Co. This is another one of those just plummeted. But a little pricey and slowing growth. So let's see. Tilray, Uber, staying away from the ride shares. Virgin Galactic at 23. Weber, Walgreens, Whirlpool, Appliances, Wayfair, Workhorse, Disney. Yeah. I mean, we already looked at some of these. Okay. I'm pretty happy with what we looked at and what we explored. Is ETH bouncing? Let's take a look at that. And I don't know if it's bouncing. It's kind of rotating back down here in the last minute or two here. Shopify. How's Shop been? Shopify. Oh, Shopify's been fine. What about, let's see here. Let's see BTC really quick. BTC. How's it been? Okay, same thing. The sort of last couple minutes here, a little bit of a drawdown. All right, let's go back to some other news here. Let's see what else we can learn. All right, Financial Times. U.S. oil benchmark hits another 70-year high. Southwest flight delays drag on into fourth day. Movement over Taiwan is getting closer. U.S. COVID cases drop 22%. Gas shortages. Why do I feel like this is almost the same headline story set that we saw yesterday? It's because not terribly much news has occurred. U.S. stocks open little changed amid energy and inflation concerns. House set to temporarily raise the debt limit. Chinese property developers report sharp drops in. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, this is going to be an issue here. I mean, if anything, this is your news over here. It's Evergrande style. Trump close to a deal to sell marquee Washington hotel. All right. Not necessarily going to read through this now. We'll keep that up. We'll keep an eye on that. All right. So what else? MGM all of a sudden running about 7.7%. That's very nice. Wonder if there's particular news here on MGM. MGM. Individual co-news. Credit Suisse upgrade. Very nice. Outperform from neutral. Saying markets not giving it credit for its recent transactions. The analyst likes the casino operator. Price target doubled. Wow. It's good news for MGM. And it's already been doing very, very well. Airbnb just get upgraded too. Not that they need an upgrade right now. Talked about Ocugen and Covaxin in India. SolarEdge, SunPower's really, you've got this wonderful energy move right now, which makes sense with oil hitting these highs right now. Airbnb sitting at 4%. Charge points up slightly, sitting around flat. 3% on Lucid. Lemonade 269. Tesla sitting at that 807. Broke through 8. Finally. Matterport actually softening a little bit, giving up some of that 3% that it had. And downside's been relatively the same. Affirm trying to recover now. Okay. Wow. Well, other than the IMF news here, I don't think that we really have this substantial amount of news today. And we'll do some exploring on Evergrande, maybe do a video on this a little later. But beyond that, hey, I'd say make sure to get your free stock with Public by going to metcalvin.com/public. Check out the programs down below. Tons of new lectures on options and analysis for stocks coming out on the 24th of October. And the price will be going up on the 29th. So take advantage of that coupon code. May as well. And folks, hey, thanks so much. We'll see you in the next one. All right. Thanks for being here. Bye.